You sit down to write a crucial report before lunch. Out of the corner of your eye, a notification lights up your phone. You decide to answer a quick message while typing your next sentence. It happens almost involuntarily. Your eyes dart away from the monitor, your hands shift to a glass screen, and your attention gets hijacked by a completely unrelated conversation. By the time you look back at your keyboard, you realize you've typed a paragraph full of typos. Worse, you find yourself rereading the exact same sentence 3 times just to remember what you were trying to say. Look at this rapidly accelerating clock overlaying a stuttering linear progress bar. You feel like you are working at top speed, yet your actual output has practically ground to a halt. You fix the typos, lose your train of thought, and check your phone again. The mental friction builds. Every sentence feels heavier, and the deadline edges closer while you spin your wheels. The intuitive belief that juggling tasks saves time is a psychological illusion. This habit actively sabotages your final output. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the neurology. In the exact microsecond your attention shifts from a report to a text message, your neural pathways violently collide and reverse course. Psychologists call this collision a cognitive switching cost. A cognitive switching cost is the measurable penalty in time and mental energy that occurs whenever you shift your focus between entirely different tasks. This diagram illustrates what researchers call a context reload. A context reload is the neurological process where the brain is forced to dump its short-term memory cache and completely rebuild a new operational framework. Every time you glance away, your brain has to perform this action. It takes time to load the new geometry. Forcing your brain to continuously dump and rebuild these mental frameworks burns through your cognitive reserves. You get tired faster, and as that fatigue sets in, your error rate climbs. The human brain is not a parallel processor. Treating it like one forces a continuous, exhausting reboot cycle that destroys your efficiency. To quantify the exact toll of this reboot cycle, we can look to the work of educational psychologist John Sweller and modern attention researchers. They designed a simple experiment to test the math behind distraction. This timeline charts their baseline data. When subjects were asked to perform task A entirely on its own, it took 10 minutes. Task B, performed alone, took 8 minutes. Stacked back to back, the work takes 18 minutes. But then they changed the rules. They forced the subjects to alternate between task A and task B in rapid, continuous succession, mimicking the way we bounce between a computer monitor and a smartphone. The total time required to finish the exact same amount of work ballooned to 25 minutes. 7 full minutes were lost to dead time. The subjects didn't do any extra work. Those 7 minutes were entirely consumed by the invisible tax of switching costs. Alternating between tasks mathematically multiplies the total time required to finish. We are left with 2 distinct ways to work: an erratic, fragmented approach that guarantees mistakes, or a deliberate, sequential approach. Refining their approach, researchers tested a new method. They instructed participants to block external interruptions, focus entirely on one task for a solid block of time, and only switch to the second task deliberately once the first was done. This split-screen visualization compares the results. Free from context reloading friction, subjects beat the baseline. They completed task A in 9 minutes and task B in 7. Finishing 9 minutes faster than the multitasking group, they produced fewer mistakes and preserved mental energy. Slowing down to focus on one action at a time is mathematically the fastest way to work. In practice, this means physically separating from secondary devices to lock into a single focus mode. Eliminating the switching cost allows the brain to operate at its highest capacity. The frantic path of constant availability is a slow trap. Disciplined, single-task focus unlocks a distinct advantage in sheer productivity, in pinpoint accuracy, and mental clarity.